Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to showcase a team that got suggested to me by viewer Aronicco. He's a pretty good battler, reached rank 3 on the leaderboard previous season, and I would say this team is a little bit more on the creative side, so plus points for that. We are leading with Obstagoon, normal moveset, Noctowl as well, normal moveset, and Galar Weezing with, I would say, you can play multiple movesets, so we are playing Play Rough as well as Overheat, double nuke. First battle, we do lead into Swilus. Interesting pick by the opponent. Definitely can do some work. But you don't see it as much. It's like a Pokemon that pops up every once in a while. And they shield our first cross chop. The second one comes out. We no-shield their body slam. We knock him out. In comes Medicham. I'm gonna immediately switch out. Felt like maybe they are double weak to fighting, however they are only double weak to the dark fighting combination. And right here I should have really just gone for the overheat. I was scared that my debuffed overheat would not do enough damage, but that would not really be the case. I should have just double overheat and call it a day. But yeah, we're still fine. Opponent throws a move right here. We know their team. We are up 2 shields and we're gonna easily be able to farm this down. They do reach a move, but that's what shields are for. So, shielding the avalanche, and now it's Medicham down on energy, down a shield. Not much they can do right there. I'm no shielding right here in case they go for a pop into Ice Punch, even though I don't think they would reach that. But just to make sure nothing knocks me out from there, I can just no shield, and back-to-back Sky Attack is gonna be enough to take them out. Next battle, we see a Como. Kinda interesting that we have back-to-back spicy dragons. Right here, I switched one too early. Was trying to catch the Focus Blast. Instead, we caught the Dragon Claw. I feel like my opponent definitely had time to not throw the move right there. And in comes Diggersby. We Stampede on 8, right when they have their Earthquake. And that worked out really well. Opponent threw the move. Now they come out with no energy. And they didn't even build up to an Earthquake. A little bit surprised by that. Maybe they would just want to do chip damage. And then they decide that they want to shield right here. Not exactly sure what's going on right here. Another shield. This is just another Fire Punch. I'm gonna let it go. And then opponent switches out right here. We are still with 2 shields left. So it's a kind of similar situation to last game. Opponent goes for the close combat. We are using our shields. And now it just seems like as if the game is over. What are they going to bring in? They bring in the Diggersby again. That is just going to be more farm. Diggersby with Earthquake and Fire Punch. Not being able to do much. And yeah, they top left. Maybe they had a Traveler in the back. Next up, we have a bad lead. We immediately bring in the Weezing. And the Wigglytuff is charming away. We do resist the charm due to the poison typing of the Galar Weezing. Opponent doesn't switch out. They let the Play Rough go. We go for another move. Overheat. This one they do shield. Let's see. I decide to no-shield the Ice Beam. And hope that I can maybe work with the shield that we have more. And we're getting a huge farm down right here, which is definitely helpful. Opponent comes into Azumarill. That thing can take definitely multiple Sky Attacks. I'm making sure that I always have energy right here. Because the bubbles are not really pressuring me. I obviously have the shield. Going for the Sky Attacks. And right here I feel like they are in range for my Sky Attack. And it seems like they were barely not, but we're able to knock them out. And in the back they do have a Medicham. Which is gonna shield the first Sky Attack. The second one, however, impossible to shield when you have no more. And now we can switch into our Obstagoon. I even decided no shield right here. It was unnecessary. But yeah, usually Medicham doesn't have anything to knock me out from that. And we win the game. Next up, Noctowl the lead. This is a rather neutral matchup. If you, however, get the boost, then this is pretty decent for Obstagoon. I don't know why I waited so long for my Night Slash. Usually you should throw the Night Slash sooner in case you get the boost, because then the counter damage gets increased. Alright, opponent, no shields. I decide to shield once. And then we are farming down. In comes the Medicham. I'm throwing the move right here. It's kind of like a panic throw. And letting it go. Maybe I should have switched out. I'm not 100% sure. Going into Galar Weezing. Hoping that I might be able to force my opponent out. We are not able to, and instead they throw the move, we catch a Psychic. And when they stayed in like here, like this, I was like, oh no, did I just throw the game? Is it just Trevenant in the back maybe? They go for the pop. They don't even have Ice Punch. I know that this is just another pop. We cannot use our shield right here. And we do get to a move. Barely, but we do get there. And it is Sableye in the back. I think I featured this team on my channel last season. And they no shit the first move. Maybe they wanted to call a bait. Probably what they had to do in this situation. Next up, we do have a Stunfisk. Stunfisk, decent lead for us. Also pretty good because we are double weak to Stunfisk in the back. So one of the best leads that you can see. Being able to not only have a favorable matchup, but also taking out a potential counter for your backline. I'm CMP-tying right here. And they let it go. In comes the Zoomer. I immediately switch out. Going into my Weezing. And I'm just gonna go for it. Just gonna go for it. Opponent no shields. And then they do decide to top left the game. Maybe they thought it's gonna be Brutal Swing. Next up, Lantern lead. I think you can force this matchup as the Obstagoon. It's definitely a neutral matchup, but it's decent. In comes Lantern, and I haven't really found a way to play the the Noctowl switcher in well. Always feel like I'm hesitating, not really sure what to do. But I think doing it like this is kind of fine. That way you take away the possibility of having your Noctowl lined up against theirs, against their Lantern. Which is something I fear. Something you definitely want to avoid. And right here I was hoping that I might be able to farm them down. I am, however, not. Should have probably just thrown my Sky Attack to save my shield. We do get the Shadow Ball. Decent damage. And in the back they have an Altaria. Now this is a pretty decent matchup. We are, however, down a shield. We just go for the play buff. Opponent shields it. We have very little fast move pressure. They have almost more with the Dragon Breath. We shield the Sky Attack and go for another play buff. Shield again. Go for another Sky Attack. We do live this. And right here, they catch the move. This is something that I could have not really prevented. I guess the one-turn move, you cannot really prevent catches, right? You can't throw mid-animation. So, a little unfortunate. But not much I could have done. I guess I could have waited longer, but in the end, it's just... That was just a lucky catch. And sometimes it works for the opponent, sometimes it doesn't. Not much I can do. Alright, next up, Bastion. Very good lead. In comes the Medicham. And I am also not sure if this is the right play. Maybe you should go into Noctowl. Because the Psychic is kind of threatening, as you see right here. And if your opponent baits you, then they might outpace you. However, in this scenario, it worked out really well. And we have our Noctowl into Trevenant. We absolutely hard counter them and they just top left the game. Alright, next Obama Snow lead. We bring in our Weezing against their Sableye swap. They do have to shield the player off in order to stay alive. I decide that I do want to shield the first one. They, however, bait me. And right here they don't even build up to the move. And I decide, alright, you know what? I'm not gonna fight for switch. I'm just gonna take shield advantage right here. And then I go into my Obstagoon, and I have the feeling that my Noctowl in the back will be able to do well against both of their backline Pokemon. Because Obstagoon is often, Obama Snow is often used as an anti-flyer as well. So in comes their Obama Snow, right? It is an ice type. So there's totally the chance that they are weak to flying in the back, right? And they're definitely weak to Noctowl with the Sableye. We shoot the Weather Ball, and in comes the Medicham. And yeah, Medicham is too far behind on energy. It's gonna get the Ice Punch, but we doubled up already. Gonna throw back to back. And I'm gonna immediately switch out. I don't want them to farm me down. Opponent gets to a Weather Ball with a few HP, maybe 1-2. But Noctowl able to live another Powder Snow and wins us the game. Next up, we do have a Pelipper. If you haven't seen it, I think it was yesterday, I uploaded a clip on Twitter where I fought a Pelipper with a very spicy moveset. Make sure to check it out. That definitely caught me off guard. We shield the Hurricane. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of throwing Hurricane in this matchup. Feel like you can just throw Weather Balls and you outpace. Alright, unfortunately I get to a 1 HP move right there. In comes a Swampert. I'm very glad that I shielded the Hurricane now. Definitely want to avoid this with the Weezing. One of the worst matchups that you can have. Go for the Hydro Cannon. And now we are farming with Noctowl. I'm counting right here. I was hoping that I might be able to farm it down before it reaches 9 Mudshots. I realize I'm not going to be able to. So I do throw my Sky Attack. And this gives me the feeling that they are not necessarily strong against Noctowl in the back. And in comes, for the 3rd time, an interesting dragon. It is Guslord. Guslord getting absolutely walled by the Weezing. And that's game over. Next up, Jellicent. Opponent switches into Noctowl. We have basically no really bad matchups against Jellicent. 2 very dominant matchups with Noctowl and Obstagoon. And yeah, even the new edition of Surf, which is okay-ish. It doesn't really help. It doesn't really help enough to make it a winnable matchup against Obstagoon or Noctowl. I do decide that I want to shield right here. And I'm like thinking right here, if I give up switch, it's fine. But I want to have shields down so I can land play roughs as well as overheats. And I'm barely not able to reach the move. That is very unfortunate. Right here we are no shielding. And farming it down. Gonna see their 3rd Pokemon. It is Medicham. Opponent brings into the Jellicent against my Weezing. And us being up a shield, this should be fine. I decide to use my shield right here. Opponent goes for a Surf. And right here I think they're lagging. I don't think it made a difference. Even if they hit me with another Surf. It's not gonna do enough. We're just gonna reach the play buff against the Medicham. And that is gonna be pretty much enough. Doing a fancy catch right here. For no reason. Catch the resisted Psychic. Opponent undercharges it. And I waste my time and throw the charge move. GG! That is gonna be it. I think we went 9-1. For the only battle where my opponent caught the move with their 1-turn Dragon Breath. Altaria. Maybe I could have overfarmed a little bit, but I wasn't really sure how much energy they had, so yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and maybe a comment, and that's gonna be it. Goodbye, see you next time.